Okay, let's look at 3 problems completing the square. It's a way to find the roots of a quadratic equation. Okay, so I'll give you an example. This one, this time, we'll solve this one. This one actually isn't too bad, but let's look at it anyway. This one you could factor solve, but let's look at it. First step, there's a couple different ways to do it. I like to get rid of our C value here. So I'm just going to add 10 to both sides. And I'm going to leave a blank. Okay. Because I'm going to create a new C value. So I'm going to take the B coefficient, which is 3. I'm just going to do a little side calculation. Divide it by 2 and square it. Okay? So 3/2 squared is 9/4, and I'm going to add 9/4 to each side. Okay? This becomes a perfect square on the left-hand side. So that's D plus 3/2 squared equals 9/4 plus 10. That's 40/4, 49/4. Okay, and if you want to check this, D plus 3/2 times D plus 3/2, all you have to do is FOIL that. Okay, D times D is D squared. 3/2 times D plus 3/2 times D is what? 6/2, which is 3 D's. And then 3/2 times 3/2 is 9/4. So that does work. Okay, so that's how we check that. Okay, the left-hand side should be pretty easy to factor every time, because if you create the correct C value, you're making it a perfect square trinomial, so it should factor to be a perfect square. Okay, so now to solve for D, we can square root both sides to get rid of the square. And then don't forget we need a plus or minus over here. So this square root and the square cancel each other out in a manner of speaking. And then over here, evaluate the square root. Well, evaluating the square root of fraction, you take the square root of the numerator and the square root of the denominator. So the square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 4 is 2. So you have plus or minus 7/2. And now all you have to do is add or subtract 3/2 from each side. So I have D equals negative 3/2 plus or minus 7/2. Okay? Now just evaluate that. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4/2. Negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10/2. So D must equal 2 or negative 5. Okay, and that is an example of completing the square with integer solutions.